Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, the purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our website or our channel. Email tmosso at thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing the 2019 Rolex Oyster Perpetual GMT-Master II 126710 BLNR. The timepiece, better known as the Batman or the Batgirl, depending on your preference. It is a handsome and, as you can see, universally wearable 40mm stainless steel case. The BLNR, 40mm in diameter by a reasonable 12.2mm thick, and as you can see, approximately 48mm from lug to lug with a 49.5mm measurement from end link to end link. It doesn't extend much past the lugs, but it's there, and I thought I should measure it for you. The spacing between the lugs is 20mm, and throwing it on the wrist, this wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, it wears easily. I would go so far as to say the Jubilee bracelet, which was a novelty on the BLNR for 2019, is more comfortable and vents better than the Oyster. And with all solid links now, I find the Jubilee to be a better all-around option, aesthetically and ergonomically. The watch wears flat, flush, and easily underneath any kind of a cuff, and I would recommend it on this bracelet for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, so smaller wrists, buy with confidence. Taking a quick look at the Jubilee, and it really is a super Jubilee, you can see that it uses the traditional 5-link design with smaller intermediates, polished intermediates, satin shoulders, polished outer faces, removable links fixed by screws, and as you can see from the underside, it does vent quite well on hot days. The clasp, internally finished, so you know it's a flagship Rolex. The internal media blasted or unfinished clasps generally are entry-level models. You have a lift lock system. You can see the beak and the hook. Watch it lock. You can see it pivot and snap. And then there's a second lock, which is the clamshell. Straight through polished faces, satin shoulders. There's a little kerf underneath the crown to allow you to easily dig your nail in and open up the clamshell. And then you have a 5mm Easy Link system that allows you to take in or out some adjustable length. You have all of these removable individual links. And then there are 3 divots inside. You can even see there are little tracks leading into the divot that allow you to change the anchoring point of the bracelet inside the clasp for fine-tuning the fit. So 3 degrees of adjustment: Easy Link, removable links, and the divots. This is the super case. I'm warming up to it. It looks strong and solid and sober and befits a sports watch. These sharp lug profiles, satin finished tops, squared off ends, and sheer sides of high polish. The crown is a screw down and it's a trip lock, and the trip lock is generally used on the 300-meter and up watches. So though this GMT Master II is rated at 100, I'll bet water resistance is more. Bidirectional rotating bezel, you can see that the insert's still black and blue, made of Cerachrom ceramic, highly scratch resistant to shield your watch. The numerals as well as the indices are platinum deposits, and the dial itself is a black lacquer with white gold hands and indices and a lovely blue 24-hour hand. The 24-hour hand's a little bit hidden, so I'm going to move it out from the shadow of the Cyclops eye right now. You can see I have a 12-hour central or local time hand that I can set independently and drive the date forward or backwards. Note the watch continues to tick. When I pull the crown out all the way, now I hack or stop the seconds and I move everything in sync. And you can see how I can use the 2 separate hour hands independently to set different times. But if I set the 24-hour hand to Greenwich Mean Time, I can use the bezel and incorporate the GMT offset of my port or airport of destination to find local time. So temporarily, in theory, I could have 3 time zones. You'll also note that the 2019 to present version of the BLNR has that little Rolex crown between Swiss and made at 6 o'clock. And of course we have the old confidence ring chapter ring inside the bezel because Rolex loves text. Turn it all over and it looks the same from the reverse side, but underneath is a new caliber, 3285. Still 31 joules bidirectional automatic winding. It's tougher than before because it uses a bearing rotor combination rather than a jeweled staff rotor combination. The old 3186 used a jeweled staff pivot, which was a little bit more shock susceptible. The bearing is tougher. Still a 28.8 beat rate on 31 joules. It now has a 70-hour power reserve, courtesy of a few refinements. The Leica-etched Chronergy escapement, which is effectively Omega's answer, or I should say Rolex's answer to Omega's coaxial. And then there is a reprofiled gear train driving the escapement, and there is a thinner mainspring barrel with a bigger mainspring. So power reserve goes from 48 to 70. The watch is, of course, certified as a chronometer, but then the movement is cased up and 6-position adjusted to run no worse than -2 +2 seconds a day. Hence the terminology superlative chronometer on the dial. It finally means something. The watch has a free-sprung balance with a full bridge for shock resistance and that handmade overcoil Breguet hairspring that allows the watch to earn the chronometer certification is also a blue oxidized niobium zirconium alloy, which is highly anti-magnetic, so the watch shock resistant, water resistant, and anti-magnetic, as well as being a famous pilot's reference. The first GMT Masters issued to Pan Am pilots, their primary customer, in late 1954. Continue the tradition on your wrist. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this BLNR Jubilee. The Rolex Black and Blue Jubilee by night.